So you've decided that you want to buy a home, which is very exciting, but that can also be very intimidating. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces during the whole transaction. And what is even the transaction? It's a whole process that if you're a first-time home buyer, you may or may not really know what's going to take place and what to do and not do. So this video is here to try to help you, even if you're not a first-time home buyer. Buying a home is usually one of the largest purchases that we would make in our lifetime, and it can be intimidating even if you've done it before, because it's not something that we do very often, unless it's something that you do very often. I want to try to help you avoid some really common mistakes that people make to no fault of their own, just because they didn't know, because how do you know until you know? So that's what we're going to talk about in this video, so stick around. If we haven't met yet, I'm Melanie VanBuskirk, and I'm glad that you're here with me today to talk about some common home buyer mistakes that we want to avoid. The number one mistake that we do see in the real estate industry is when a person goes out and starts looking for houses before they are pre-qualified from a lender. If you're going to be buying with cash, that's a different issue, and what you need there is a proof of funds letter. But if you're going to be getting a mortgage, like many people do, you want to have a pre-qualification from a lender. It's a letter that you actually get and that you'll be submitting with an offer when you make one on a home. For the most part, you're not even going to find a real estate agent that will show you houses until you have that pre-qualification letter, so that you can move quickly on a home as soon as you find the one that you want. The process is fairly simple, and it really provides you some useful information so that you know how much home you can afford and what price range you should be looking at. They'll ask you for some basic information, of course, your name, your date of birth, your social security number, your employment history, and they're going to run your credit to find out exactly what you qualify for, so you can head on out and then start searching for your home. Number two is a biggie. This is what I call real estate agent hopping. When you call the listing agent, you're calling a sign in a yard, or you're calling the name at the end of a Zillow listing. You're generally going to be talking to the seller's agent. That is the seller's representative. That person is looking to sell you that particular home, and it is in their client's best interest for you to pay the most amount of money for that home, and they are looking out for the seller's best interest. They are legally required to do so. They are required to be fair, but they are required to be looking out for the interest of their client. You should also have your own representation. You really need to have someone who has your back and is looking out for your best interest above anyone else's, someone who is representing you. So you don't want to be calling those yard signs or the listing, the number at the bottom of a listing, something that you see online. You need to find an agent that you can relate to, that you're comfortable with, that you're not afraid to talk to, ask questions of, and that you trust and realize that they are looking out for your best interest, and have them along the way the whole time. Don't hop around. And you get that agent right from the start. Generally, your real estate agent is going to be the one who can give you some really great lender recommendations. So they're number one in the process in my book. First is find your realtor, who you want to work with. Next is your lender. Number three is also a biggie. This is Zillow. Zillow itself, it's a great website. Everyone likes to use it to search for homes. But we don't want to rely on that Zestimate. That estimate that Zillow puts out is not accurate. It can't do the same thing that a human can do, which is take in other things into account. So those estimates can be very, very off. When you're looking to make an offer on a home, you want to know what that property has in actual market value. So any great real estate agent is going to be able to run some comps for you, looking at comparable homes that have sold, so that we find out the real market value of the house before you make an offer on it. Number four, I always like to recommend people use a local lender, and there's some benefits to doing that. Local lenders are typically going to be more available, and it's going to be a more personal relationship that gets created between you and your lender. You can generally call or text or email and get a pretty quick reply from a local lender, even after hours. And a lot of times you're going to need that, Say you're out looking for a house on a Saturday and you want to make an offer on it. Well, we know that you've already gotten pre-qualified because you're out looking for a house, right? But when you want to make the offer, you only want your offer to read on your letter the amount that you're offering on that house. So your maximum budget may be one thing, but you want that new offer letter to say the amount you're offering on that home. So if you're working with a local lender, you can typically get that letter on a Saturday or even a Sunday. So I always recommend a local lender. Number 5, taking on new debt. Once you have gotten pre-qualified, you want to make sure that you don't take on any new debt, and actually you don't want to even apply for any cards. Say you're in a store and they say, hey, do you have a whatever card? You'll get 10% off if you apply today. If you apply, that can damage your credit. You do not want to apply for any new credit. Don't open any new credit. Don't go out and buy a car. Don't buy furniture on credit. Nothing of the sort. Definitely want to avoid opening new lines of credit and applying for credit. And number 6 kind of goes hand in hand with number 5, thinking that the lender is only going to look at your credit one time. They are not. They are going to look at it right before the closing. So make sure you don't let anything go into default. Don't open new lines of credit, and make sure everything is being paid as it should be. So if you got pre-qualified and your credit shows one thing, and then right before the closing, I mean right before the closing, they're going to pull it again. And if they see, oh, well, now you've got something delinquent or a new line of credit, that can cause you a problem. That can cause you, in fact, to lose the home. Number 7, changing jobs. Even if you think it's a good thing, you're getting a promotion, you're going to make more money or whatever it is, whatever the case is, don't change your job unless you have talked to your lender first. And if you know you're going to be changing jobs before you even pre-qualify, just make sure you talk to the lender about it. Number 8, this one is a doozy, and you would probably not expect this to even be a problem at all. But number 8 is cash. Depositing cash into your bank account can actually be a really big problem. They need to be able to verify all the transactions and funds that are going in and out of your account. And they're going to look, we know this, right before the closing. So I have actually had a scenario where a buyer client of mine had money given to them by a family member. They deposited it into their bank account. The lender, ping, they see it right before the closing, and they want to know, where did this cash come from? Oh, well, this cash came from so-and-so family member. Okay, great. Now we just need to see so-and-so family members' bank statements as well to show where they got this sum of money. That can create a lot of issue. Sometimes a family member is not going to want to give you their bank statement to give to your lender. It can create a world of problems, and it can be a lot of red tape, and you want to just avoid it altogether. If you have a large cash scenario, talk to your lender about it. In fact, any issue that involves your credit, your job, or money, anything finances, talk to that lender that you're using about it. They are your friend. They are not your enemy. They want to help you. They want you to be able to qualify for the loan, and they're ready, willing, and able to give you their professional wisdom on what you should and shouldn't do, and especially because everything is really personal and case-by-case scenarios. They know, looking at your situation, what is best for you. If changing a job would be a problem, if depositing cash would be a problem, all of these factors are very individual, and your lender is the one who can answer these questions the best for you. So do not hesitate to reach out. They want to get this loan approved for you so that you can get into your home. If you've enjoyed this video and found it useful at all, be sure to give it a like, comment, or share. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.